And this morning, we will take you to discover women power. Often when we think of technology, we don't naturally or usually associate with women. But this morning, we're joined by some very successful ladies. They have built their successful career in the technology industry. Let me first introduce our first keynote speaker. But before that, let's take a look at a short video.
Welcome to the Girls in Tech Catalyst Conference. Now in its 5th year, this is our flagship event. I'm thrilled that it's brought together so many incredible women in tech.
Any day that starts with a room full of smart, passionate, bright women who care about startups and tech is a great day for me.
The first question we get, this is the first interview we've ever done, and the first question is, yo, where are the women at?
The table that you're at has the collective wisdom. Everybody owns a piece of it, and you are part of that piece.
It really takes that dedication to launching your own company and that conviction, because no one is going to care more about it than you.
And that is very difficult for most people, to get out of doing something that you're really good at and going to some place that is your calling.
There's so much that you balance plus and minuses any given day that it's worth celebrating that, any small victory.
Business of business is to improve the state of the world. That's what we're really trying to do here, is inspire hearts and minds.
We start with a huge problem in the world, something that if it was solved would affect the lives of millions or even billions of people. We think we can bring about a breakthrough that turns it from science fiction into real science.
And I don't mean just show up in your life. I don't mean just show up in your work. I mean show up in everything you choose to do.
Beautiful and powerful. Let us welcome the founder and CEO of Girls in Tech, Ms. Adriana Gascoigne. Woo!
How's everyone doing this morning? Come on, I can't hear you. A little bit louder. Woo! Great, great. I'm so excited to be here in Taipei. This is actually my first time in Taiwan, and it's absolutely marvelous. I was able to go see the city and some of the sites in 101 and go to the most popular beef noodle place. It was absolutely amazing. So that plus my neighborhood masseuse already knows me by my first name. So I'm having a great, great time here. So thank you, Taiwan, for the warm welcome. I wanted to start off by putting you guys out of your comfort zone a little bit. I wanted you to look to your neighbor and introduce yourself, because this event is all about networking and connecting and engaging with one another. So take a second, introduce yourself to your neighbor, tell them what your name is and what you do and why you're here. Don't be shy. Great. It's always great to get to know your neighbors and their inspirations for being here. So the reason I'm here today is to not only support InnoVEX, but also to talk to you guys about Girls in Tech Taiwan and the state of women and the women's movement here in Asia. And it's important that we have this discussion because our gender is still very scarce, and it really takes a village to create change and create really awesome tech companies, tech products and services, and women need to be a part of that equation. So I'd like to start talking about some statistics and then talk a little bit about my story and what inspired me to create Girls in Tech in San Francisco over 11 years ago. So this statistic shows that obviously there's a huge, huge problem still existing in the industry. In the United States, for the past 20 years, women have held less than 25% of the tech jobs, and they make up close to 50% of the workforce. That is a really, really sad statistic. Another stat that I just read in Inc. magazine is that female founders have only been granted 2.2% of the overall VC funding of $85 billion in the United States. That's 2.2%. That is extremely low. And actually, it's an increase from last year, from the year prior, but it's still extremely low, and we need to create that change because there's so many talented female founders who want to create awesome products. We need to make sure that they get access to capital and to certain resources. So let me tell you a little bit about my story and then talk about some of our goals and accomplishments that we've had over the last 11 years. So I started this organization in 2007 in San Francisco, and I was working at a startup called Gooba. And this company is a lot like YouTube and Netflix combined. It has since dissipated, no longer exists. But it was a phenomenal company with great potential, and we were one of the first to actually distribute premium content from big Hollywood studios like Universal and Warner Brothers and Foxlight, to name a few. Now, I would go into work every day and be so excited to build products and services with my team, iterate and pivot the products, try out new things, help with the user design, help with the product marketing, with the business side of the company. And we grew. We grew from 10 to 30 to 50 people, but there was one major problem that I was facing every day. And that was, I was the only woman in the room. I would look around, white, male dudes, no offense, guys, but that was pretty much it. I was not only the only woman in the room, but I was the only minority. So there weren't any people of color, any LGBT, and I know that needed to change in order to create a more diverse workforce, in order to create better products and services for our users. So I took it upon myself to go to local universities like Stanford and Santa Clara and UC Davis and Berkeley, and did sort of my own grassroots recruiting efforts. Walk around campus, be like, come work at our cool startup. It's really neat. This is what we're doing. And the women would come into the office, spend literally 15 minutes there and say, why would I want to work here? It's all guys, and it's not conducive to a diverse workforce. There was things like beer pong tables and other things that weren't very attractive to women. Not to mention the lack of diversity and other types of benefits and training programs that are important. So I said, okay, well, this isn't working, and the executives aren't really supporting the cause. So I decided to go out on a limb and take matters into my own hands, and I produced an event. My friend, who's a fashion designer, created a logo. I'm a very visual person, and I had just an event, a networking event in San Francisco at a place called Slide. My friend was a co-owner. It was actually a dance club. And I said, this is something that I want to produce. I just want to see if people will actually show up. I actually wanted to see if there were actually women in tech that existed in Silicon Valley. And so, so I ended up holding the event. From 6 to 9, it was all women. And then from 9 on, the men were invited to join us. And there was 200 women that attended that event. And for me, that was a massive success. And then at 9 o'clock, when we opened up the doors, there was literally a line around the corner, like this is one huge San Francisco block, of men that wanted to meet these women and interact with these smart, savvy women in tech, because they also didn't believe that we existed. So the event was very successful, and after that event, people said, well, now what? Now what are you going to do? I said, well, I don't know. Like, I guess I had to do something, right? And then I thought to myself, with this brand and this potential and people, women really wanting this community, this support network, they wanted to create sort of have opportunities for educational advancement, for career development, to interact and network with other women, to get the resources and support from the community, from venture capitalists and mentors and advisors, to actually build and launch their own companies. And this was a huge bottleneck. So I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I committed to bringing together my network of professors and VCs and scientists and high-tech executives who are all in it for the cause, who really wanted to see change created, who really wanted to empower women. And this was pretty groundbreaking back in 2006, 2007, because there were very few women in tech organizations. So we ended up working together, building out some curriculum, and then over the years refining that curriculum. And now we have 6 trademark programs where we deploy them around the world in 60 different cities, where we have chapters in 36 different countries in 6 continents. And now we have over 100,000 members 11 plus years later. And by the end of 2020, we'll have over 200,000 members. We'll be in 45 different countries and have 100 chapters around the world. Thank you. So some of our goals and accomplishments, I mean, really it is to improve diversity in the workforce. We all know that if you have diverse groups of people working at a company, you'll develop a more comprehensive product. People essentially problem solve and are creative in different ways based on their backgrounds. This is not just expertise. This is where you've lived. This is languages that you've learned. This is opportunities that you have. This is other industries that you've worked in. So all of that is very important in creating a very diverse workforce, because that will definitely enhance your product and service. We want to make sure we empower women to pursue their careers, to achieve their dreams, find their passion and purpose, and make sure that they have a great pathway and role models to guide them there. The whole concept of you can't be what you can't see is really true. So we want to make sure that we bring together these high-tech execs, these serial entrepreneurs, these amazing venture capitalists, and have them share their story, because it's relatable. You know, it's really uplifting to the younger generation of women aspiring to be those execs or an entrepreneur or a startup employee. We want to increase the women in tech pipeline. So one of our major goals at Girls in Tech is to make sure that we give access to very talented women, interesting opportunities and jobs at the startups that we work with and the big high-tech companies that we partner with. And this is not only giving them introductions, but it's also providing educational opportunities for them to learn different types of skills, like coding. We just launched a Python, Django, and Ruby on Rails coding class for beginner coders. We are launching our Code GIT, which is an intensive 8-week Python, Django, brick-and-mortar coding school. So things like this actually help enhance the skills and provide new and interesting opportunities for the women of our network. We want to expand our international footprint. This is extremely important for me personally and for the organization. We're very blessed in Silicon Valley to have so many great resources at our fingertips. This includes institutions, this includes NGOs and different type of educational organizations. This includes awesomely talented people, just like you have here in Taiwan. But these awesomely talented people are also very empathetic. They really care about your future. They care about you as an entrepreneur. They want to make sure that you succeed. And so they're willing to give you that time and make that effort so that you can have the skills and access to certain resources and capital that you need to build your startup. This is very unique to Silicon Valley, and I think it's spreading around the world. But as we grow the organization and we build out the curriculum, I want personally to see that every woman in the world has access to education in STEM. That is our #1 goal. And there should be no bottlenecks. It doesn't matter the situation, whether it's political or social. We need to make sure that women around the world are not only given a voice, but given the educational platform to succeed and live a successful, sustainable lifestyle in tech, if that's what they choose. So our goal is to bridge the technological divide between what we're creating in Silicon Valley. We pilot all our programs there, we perfect them, we optimize on them, and then we deploy them to the 60 chapters that we have around the world. But with one major caveat, we work with teams on the ground who serve as our eyes and ears, so we understand the cultural nuances and the needs and the wants of that community and those members. Because every tech community is very distinct, very unique, and we want to make sure we don't take a cookie-cutter approach and say, you know, we're Silicon Valley, we're the best thing since sliced bread. Not the case. We want to listen, we want to observe, and we want to share our resources and customize them so that we can help the local economies grow. So how we're different? We get this a lot, this question a lot, because now more than ever there are a lot of women in tech organizations. There's Girls Who Code, there's Women Who Code, there's many other entrepreneurial organizations, and I wanted to set the record straight. We are very different. And I'm really proud to say that we have very diverse programming. So it's inclusive to all women in tech, not just developers, not just software developers, even though they're very, very important to the ecosystem. We focus on business development, sales, product marketing. We also focus on data scientists as well as designers, really anyone in tech that's interested in being a part of the community and learning and growing with us. So our programming ranges, and I'll talk about that in a second, but it ranges from hardcore coding boot camps to business pitch competitions to large conferences. We run the gamut. And that is because we want to make sure that we are an organization that helps create change and impact in every stage of a woman's career between university to mid-level career, which is a very important time, and there are many different changes that happen within a woman's career during that period. We also are the largest women in tech organization in the world. And I'm really, really, really proud to say that, because it's obviously not just Girls in Tech headquarters and me having a vision that has turned into a larger organization and back in 2007. It's people like Jane and her Girls in Tech Taiwan team over there that have really extended our vision and have planted the seed here in Taiwan and Taipei to bring together the resources and the curriculum that is needed to really provide these educational opportunities for women in STEM. So that is very important for us to have a very connected, dedicated, and pretty selfless leadership around the world. And that has given us the opportunity to now be the largest women in STEM organization in the world. As mentioned, we focus on university to mid-level career women. So university freshman year, so 18 to around 45, 55, you're going to give it an age range. And this, again, is really important because women make a lot of changes within their career. They seek out new and interesting opportunities. There's a lot of growth potential, and there's a lot of skill building. So there are a lot of people who make lateral moves or who are interested in learning how to code if they're a designer. There are a lot of women who are inspired to become entrepreneurs. So that is really exciting. We had an event last night focused on female founders, and it was great to see the room packed and so many questions being asked about what it's like to launch a company, what resources are needed, what are the trials and tribulations. And this is really cool because I think it's only going to increase from here, is seeing so many women actually be excited about launching their company, building their product or service, because we're inspired by the previous generation of awesome female founders. some of the things that we've been working on around the world that have also given us a great footprint is government policy and advocacy. So I heard that in Taiwan, the government is really supportive of entrepreneurship and really likes to focus on empowering not only local women and people that are interested in entering into STEM or launching their companies, but also expats. A lot of foreign talent here. I met somebody from Mexico last night, and she said, you know, I just decided to come here, learn Taiwanese, and then I just started an AR/VR company here, and I stayed. Because there's really, really high, top-notch talent here in Taiwan. And I think that that is a huge recipe for success in terms of building out your startup. You can hire really great people to help you scale and build your products and services. So government has really been supportive of girls in tech. We were invited to the White House. We got a Women's Achievement Award a few years ago. We worked with David Cameron when he was the Prime Minister in the UK, and he supported our mentorship program. So it was a 4-month mentorship program focused on entrepreneurs, and they went through the program, and then they were invited to go to 10 Downing Street, which is pretty damn cool. And then he presented them all with awards. So the UK government is also very supportive. We were invited to ring the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. So we were one of 5 nonprofits to be chosen to ring the bell. And this was a huge achievement for us because it was just like a company going public, but we got to go through the same process and do the tour and go up on the podium and ring the bell, which is very, very exciting. So some of our membership demographics are included in these infographics here. And as you can see, we're 11% in Asia, and we really want to focus on growing that number. As the team here knows, a lot of the corporations that we work with have a footprint here. And so we want to make sure that we get enough resources and funding and support so that we can grow this number, this percentage in Asia and Oceania as well. The breakdown of our members is engineering 31%, product marketing 17%, business 12%, product development 18%, and entrepreneurship 22%. And that shifts based on location, but this is a general study that we did around the world of all of our members. So some of our programs, just to give you a snapshot, this is obviously the bread and butter of the organization and something that I'm really passionate about because not only I helped build these, but we actually have refined them over the years and have made a really, really big impact in deploying these programs around the world. So Amplify is now the largest women's business pitch competition in the world. We usually have it in 8 different cities. This year we have confirmed San Francisco on October 3rd, and Singapore in the fall, and Paris and London also in the fall. And this is a traditional women's business pitch competition, and we allow anyone from around the world to apply who has actually a prototype, product or service, and they enter to win a seed funding for their company as well as office space in Silicon Valley for a year and laptops for their whole team. Not too shabby. Pretty awesome prize. And something that's really, really special about this event is that the great majority of women who make it to the top 10 finalists create social impact products. So in healthcare, education, we had some that were focused on finding somebody that was lost. The Aborigine people in Australia, there was somebody who created an application that enabled people, sort of like an Amber Alert, an education, a way for people to connect or find a lost loved one. So this is very present in this conference, and it's something we're really proud of because it's not only creating interesting technologies, products and services, but it's also really focused on social impact, paying it forward, and giving back to the communities around the world to solve some major problems. Our Catalyst Conference is something we definitely would like to bring to Taipei. This is our largest conference that we've been producing since 2010. We now hold it in 3 different cities, in San Francisco, Melbourne, Australia, and London. And this event is really special because it's a platform to showcase very accomplished leaders in the STEM field. So this is everything from astronauts to high-tech execs to serial entrepreneurs to venture capitalists to journalists. Last year we even had the #1 astronomer, a Harvard professor, come from the East Coast, who's almost 90 years old. She's also an author now, and she spoke at the event. Absolutely phenomenal woman. And this is really a platform to inspire the younger generation of youth interested in going into the STEM fields, interested in becoming an entrepreneur, interested in excelling in their careers in tech, and most importantly, finding their passion and purpose and understanding of why, the why of entering into the workforce, the tech workforce. And this again is, we focus a lot on women. We do have some male speakers. When we focus a lot on minorities, you know, minorities are definitely a scarcity within the STEM fields as well, and we seek out different minority groups so they can actually come together and share their story and pull on the heartstrings of the attendees who are participating. This X factor, this inspiration behind this is really, really important part of the millennials' sort of aspirations to find out what they want to do in their careers. It's something that we can't really teach in a boot camp, but people can share their stories and hopefully it'll resonate with the attendees. Our Global Classroom is our most popular program around the world, and this is our e-learning platform. Our e-learning platform, for obvious reasons, is most popular because it's easy access to anybody who has a laptop and bandwidth. But also, it's the only program that we have that's 100% free. It's pro bono, it's 100% supported by our different corporate partners. And we have about 1,000 people participate every course, and we teach things like how to build and design a website. We teach things how to do 3D software development, so design using Tinkercad technology. We do things like how to build an iOS app using Swift programming. So a lot of different things that we can do on this platform. And we also can have a really easy way of allowing the teacher to communicate and engage with their students. So this is another mentorship, a way to mentor the younger generation that's interested in learning these new and interesting skills. So that's Global Classroom. Our Hacking for Humanity is a newer program that we launched in early 2017. And this is a 25-city global hackathon tour where we unite women to create social change apps in 5 different categories: education, environment, safety, community, and I always forget the last one, and healthcare. And it's extremely, extremely important because we use, as mentioned, our chapters to serve as our eyes and ears on the ground in the different cities to understand the nuances, but also issues that they face, and learn ways in which technology can help solve those issues. So we encourage our chapters, the ones that are producing this event, to partner up with organizations like Doctors Without Borders or the Red Cross or UNICEF, different types of organizations that need technical help to create things like different types of apps or databases or different things like that. And this has actually worked really, really well for us. This event is now expanding in 10 different cities this year, and we're continuing to see a lot of traction here, a lot of government support. And one thing that I have to add about this program is, how many of you have been to a hackathon before? Okay, about 10% of the crew. As you know, there are very few women who participate in hackathons. the few that we've produced in Silicon Valley and the few that I've attended, there's probably about 5 to 10 women in a group of like around 100 plus people. And I wanted to create this change. And I think because of the format of it, you see less and less women getting involved. So I wanted to break down those barriers and make women feel comfortable by participating. And so we've created this Girls in Tech Hackathon to support them. So I'll talk a little bit about the boot camps as well. The boot camps, as mentioned, right now we're focused on 3 different boot camps. The first is our intro to Python Django, as well as intro to Ruby on Rails. And this is for people who are really interested in jumping into coding, into programming, and really understanding what it's like to develop using these languages. We're also doing one on design thinking and some more advanced design thinking program that really enables our members to focus on creative problem solving within their teams. So it could be a product development team, it could be a marketing team, it could be a business development team, it could even be a coding, a software development team. Those skills can be applied to really any division within the company. And we're focused on our startup breakthroughs. This is by far our most popular program. And this is a soup to nuts entrepreneurial training program that's 5 days long. And this was built by Girls in Tech and then our friends at Berkeley. And this is both Haas and also their Sky Labs program. And then together we've created 5 days of intensive, full-time entrepreneurial training to teach women that have an actual prototype how to build and scale their product. This is everything from growth hacking to fundraising to product marketing to hiring your team. All of this is really important. And typically, when we start companies, we're usually experts in one area. So a computer scientist or a designer or a marketer. And so it really, really helps these women become well-rounded entrepreneurs and feel extremely confident when they're launching their startup. So this is very, very important for the entrepreneurial community. Some of our numbers, something I'm really proud of, since the launch of Girls in Tech, we've helped over 420,000 women through our programs. So 10,000 in Amplify, our business pitch competition, 50,000 at Catalyst conferences, hackathons, 175,000 around the world. Our boot camps, we've helped 125,000 women, and our global classroom, 60,000 women. And we hope to increase these numbers, obviously, year over year. This is our global reach. Now, we see a lot of pink, but we also see a lot of black. And I want to make sure that we expand in all the black areas as well. We're doing a really huge push for African countries. So our big goal for 2018 is to launch in 5 more African countries this year, and also in the Middle East. So if you guys know anybody in Kuwait and Saudi Arabia and Afghanistan, we are focused on those areas, and we definitely want to expand in those areas. In addition to making sure that we provide all the resources, curriculum, programming that are necessary here in Taipei to make sure women have what they need to grow their careers. Here's just a snapshot of some of the partners that we've worked with over the last 11 years. Some more small partnerships, but some of the bigger ones like Facebook, they've been a huge advocate of Girls in Tech in Taipei, but also around the world, primarily in JPAC and other areas in that region. And they've really focused on entrepreneurialism. There's a campaign that they have going on called She Means Business. And they partnered with Girls in Tech to really incorporate our entrepreneurial program to really support female founders in their path to launching their companies and building successful startups. So instead of reinventing the wheel and creating their own curriculum, they said, you know, Girls in Tech is pretty cool, and they have good programming. And so they partnered with us, they supported it, and now we're deploying it all over the world, well, actually in 8 different cities, and we're proud to see that partnership grow. And actually, the partnership started here in Taiwan, so great job. And that's it from me. If you guys have any questions or comments about Girls in Tech, if you want to learn how you can get involved in the organization, please talk to Jane and the team over here. They're sitting here. They have the Girls in Tech shirts. We definitely want to make sure that you guys have the resources that you need to succeed and build out the tech ecosystem to educate as many women in Taipei as possible who want to become startup founders and really to help the economy here. We want to make sure that it grows and we want to make sure that the startup ecosystem thrives. So we're going to end with a quick video from Amplify, and this is the business pitch competition that we're deploying here, hopefully next year. So thank you very much. Girls in Tech's Amplify business pitch competition is the largest in the world. This year we had 294 applicants, which is record-breaking.
This competition is known as one of the world's foremost competitions for women, and I only know it's going to grow.
You have to be optimistic on one side to say that, look, whatever I'm doing, even though the world thinks I shouldn't do it, I know I'll succeed.
Even people that are budding entrepreneurs can come into an environment like this and they can see people doing it, and if they can do it, I can do it. I can't afford not to be here at Amplify. If you're a woman and you're an entrepreneur in technology, you need to be here.
I know you're all here to hear these amazing pitches, the top 10 finalists that have produced products and services to share with you.
I am CEO and co-founder of Adistry. Our team is small and nimble and very passionate.
These platforms had not modernized in the last 15 years.
I'm removing friction from the customer's perspective. I'm also removing friction from the enterprise integration perspective.
This is somebody doing something and inviting somebody to join them.
Our engine understands your input.
We help companies engage and retain their talent at scale using artificial intelligence.
This goes far beyond the smart devices in a home to encompass the entire building.
The core really is there's no great measure of asthma control.
So we created Scholar because we wanted an all-in-one solution for our pets, not another single function tracker.
Yeah. This is really, really tough. Congratulations to all of the participants.
So the winner is Scholar Inc.
Thank you, everybody. We couldn't do this without you.
Thank you, Adriana. Thank you, Girls in Tech.